Welcome back to BitWise. Have you heard of DAO? A Decentralized Autonomous Organization? Wonder what is that? Well, you are in the right place. Today we gonna discuss and explain this. We're going to find out the what, why and how DAOs operate. Before we start, remember to support us by like, subscribe and share. Thank you. Picture this, a company with no hierarchy on our left hand and well-written code on the right. We'll bring those two together and you'll have something close to a DAO. Of course, there are some nuances to it, but basically, that's the big idea of a decentralized autonomous organization. Decentralized is that there is no limit to group or person in control, and autonomous in that it retains the right to govern itself. It's a flawless structure, right, or is it? Of course, is not all sunshine and paradise, so make sure you watch to the end where we'll give you a unique perspective on the problems faced by DAOs. We can define DAO as a community-led, fully autonomous and transparent entity with no central authority that lays rules and executes decisions using a smart contract. If you want to know more about a smart contract, we have a video on the card above. To explain better, say you and your friends decide to start an online business selling lemonade. If your business were a DAO, none of you would have more say than the other. No one is the boss, while at the same time, everyone is the boss. Additionally, an algorithm will automatically make calculations like operation costs, profits, and losses. So ideally, your organization is entirely decentralized in terms of distribution of power, and the algorithms enable the business to run itself. DAO have many use cases that govern decentralized finance projects, such as MakerDAO and MediaDAO, like Bankless DAO that help the bankless movement grow via education. There are even gaming DAO. There is no end to the use cases here. Let's put it this way, say you find a cause you believe in, you think of a unique way to structure a collective, incentivization schemes, the kind of culture you want to promote and so on, and if you can rally enough community support around this, then you can potentially form a new DAO. Speaking of performing a new DAO, how does DAO sign up members and fund activities? The earlier stages of starting a business primarily involve raising funds, right? Similarly, most DAOs raise funds and fill the treasury by issuing DAO governance tokens for participants to join. So these tokens are put up for sale, giving holders automatic membership into the DAO and voting powers. If you hold this governance token, you have a say in how the organization is run. These tokens generally serve a threefold function. First, they help raise funds for the DAO, which can be used to pay members for carrying out specific tasks. Secondly, they help ensure that members are committed to the project. Look at it this way, if you hold governance tokens, you want them to go up in value, right? Since you've invested in the project, it only makes sense to help the project succeed. After all, it is now your project too. And then thirdly, the governance tokens allow members to vote on the direction and key decisions of the DAO, and more on this later. Over time, some DAOs also conduct treasury operations to generate additional sources of revenue to further their project goals and costs. This includes operations like staking, where users commit their crypto assets and earn rewards. Let's assume this DAO is up and running. How does it operate and make decisions? Many DAO organize themselves like a corporation, so they'll split into departments like marketing, sales, development, etc. However, corporations typically have a rigid top-down command structure. DAO are fluid and aim to have a flat organizational structure. You know how company heads occupy the precious office on the highest floors. DAO will have this huge imaginary table in that office, and everybody gets a seat at this table. Therefore, there are no managers within the individual departments in the traditional sense. Instead, a leader who issues directives may be present. So what if you're not in a department? While not every DAO member serves in a specific department, every member has the right to write proposals for the entire DAO to vote on. Let's take an example. Say we submit a proposal on the transaction fees of our network should be reduced by 1%, shared with the community on public forums or Discord channels and debate it thoroughly before being put to the vote. Finally, votes are recorded onto the blockchain, making the process and outcomes fully auditable and transparent, and this allows DAO members to vote with confidence. This helps build trust and align the interests of the majority of the DAO members. How do DAO decisions get implemented in a transparent manner? Remember that DAO members are pseudonymous, therefore, they must be able to operate in a trustless manner, which means that you do not need to place your sole trust in any one stranger, institution or third party for the project to function through a smart contract, which are algorithms that execute automatically once certain preset conditions are met. DAO is not perfect, a never-ending cycle of trade-offs to get one thing right while sacrifice another. Let's look into these challenges. First, we have accessibility versus accountability. Thanks to blockchain technology, DAO are always open, anyone can start or globally participate in DAO. Community participants are judged based on their merits and contributions, not their background. However, this ease of accessibility is a dual-edged sword. The thing is, a DAO can't regulate any action or, more importantly, remove the centralized layers of power that eventually pop up. So when you take a closer look, the DAO of today are still fundamentally dependent on individuals or entities, some of which may be pseudonymous. Think of a situation where the multi-stack holders of the Treasury wallet decide collectively to run away with the investors' funds. There's not much the community can do about it. The best-case scenario is that parties with known identities may be subject to legal enforcement. Still, doesn't that take us some steps back since there is some reliance on a third party, and, worst-case scenario, their identities are never known due to the pseudonymous nature of DAOs. Either way, the reality is that all members rely almost exclusively on faith of select individuals who have the option of preceding any accountability for their actions. The next trade-off is decentralization versus efficiency we previously mentioned. DAO democratic approach to making decisions is not a one-size-fits-all solution, therefore, it has to be tweaked for practicality. Most DAO usually employ a hybrid democratic approach possessing a flat hierarchy that incorporates elements from representative democracy where specific individuals are elected to act on behalf of the community. So you trade off decentralization for efficiency, but does this trade-off make sense for operational efficiency? It makes sense, and some decisions may be too trivial or time-sensitive and cannot wait for a 2-week governance vote. However, how the individuals choose to exercise their power to act in the best interest of the DAO or project is often up for debate. So as much as the decisions made on behalf of the community may be the right ones, some would still argue that this goes against total decentralization principles. On to another attractive trade-off, openness versus control. The general expectation for DAO is that they eventually adopt a governance token model. Usually, the weight of one token equals one vote, similar to how shares in a company or voting in a democracy traditionally works. There are variations, but for the most part, the more tokens you have, the more voting power you have. In other words, whales or people who hold a large amount of tokens have the most significant influence. The lesson here is that while the DAO concept of one token, one vote may seem the fairest on the surface, it opens up to parties taking unintended advantage of these features. There are even cases where some parties have taken advantage of flash loans to manipulate a vote. Basically, a large loan of the governance token is taken out and is used to vote, and this has happened before in DAO-run protocols such as Maker. I think that we have to accept there will always be some form of centralization in DAO, but all in all, DAO are changing the landscape of not just the internet but the world. How we organize ourselves online is, in turn, going to influence and give rise to new ways of restructuring society, and this honestly exciting to see how DAO will provide states and corporations a run for their money in the future, right? Let us know in the comments below what you find most interesting about DAO, and remembers to like, subscribe and follow us on all our socials. Thank you for watching.